Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. So, have you ever wondered why some genuinely smart, hardworking people earning really decent salaries, end up building massive wealth, while others, making six figures, stay completely, unbelievably stuck? You know, it's not because they aren't trying. It's actually just because nobody ever sat them down and taught them how money really works. Well, today, we're going to change that.
Why do six-figure earners stay broke? I really want you to process that for a second. Because as young professionals, we're constantly sold this deep-seated illusion, right? We think, if I just get that big promotion, or if I can just land that high-salary job, boom, I'm instantly wealthy and all my money stress just vanishes. But we need to completely shatter that myth right here, right now. Just earning a lot of money does not automatically equal wealth.
So the crucial point is that we tend to falsely assume wealth is just having a high income. But the absolute reality? Wealth is determined by your financial decisions. Literally, every single day, millions of people make these very quiet, seemingly harmless little choices that just destroy their future wealth. And listen, this isn't out of laziness, it's not because they're irresponsible, it's simply a lack of knowledge.
Okay, let's dive into this structured mentorship framework we've built for you today. We're going to cover the income illusion, then we'll get into stopping the daily leaks, building your financial shield, starting the wealth engine, and finally wrap up with your next small decision.
All right, phase 1, stopping the daily leaks. We're looking at controlling lifestyle inflation, small expenses, and budgeting.
Think of this phase as your financial wake-up call. It's all about awareness, guys, because before we can build a massive, beautiful financial house, we absolutely have to patch the foundation and stop the financial bleeding that happens when everyday expenses just spiral out of control. So imagine you finally get that raise you've been grinding for. Awesome, right? But most people celebrate by immediately upgrading their car or getting a fancier apartment. And what happens? Your expenses rise just as fast as your new income. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is the absolute biggest reason people never actually feel any richer no matter how much their paycheck grows. The simple fix here: whenever your income goes up, save or invest a portion of it before you upgrade your lifestyle.
That leads us straight into a pretty dangerous illusion. There's a massive difference between looking rich, the luxury cars, the designer clothes, the flashy status symbols, and having true wealth, which is your investments, your assets, your savings, and ultimately your freedom. I always find it kind of funny when I'm scrolling through social media, because that guy flexing next to a luxury car in your feed, he might actually be quietly drowning in massive car payments and credit card debt. True wealth is actually invisible. It's the money you don't see.
Now, let's talk about those sneaky daily leaks. We're talking about those forgotten subscriptions, the food delivery apps, late-night impulse shopping, the daily $5 coffee runs. Individually, these don't seem like a big deal at all. We just think, hey, it's just a coffee. But combined, man, these tiny leaks become massive problems that will silently sink your financial ship. If you track your spending for literally just 1 month, I guarantee you'll be completely shocked at the expenses you barely even remember making.
So, how do we fix it? We bridge the gap with a budget. We're breaking things down into housing, food, savings, and discretionary spending. Listen to me on this one. Without a budget, your money just disappears into thin air. So many people know exactly what they earn, but very, very few know where it actually goes. I really want you to reframe how you view this tool. A budget is absolutely not a restriction, it's awareness. It gives every single dollar a specific job, a specific purpose. And that clarity, that creates total financial control.
Moving on to part 2, building your financial shield. This is all about defending against debt and the unexpected.
So this is where we transition into defense. You have got to protect yourself and basically build a fortress around your money, because life is inevitably going to throw curveballs your way. 3 to 6. That right there is the absolutely crucial target number. We're talking 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses tucked away in an emergency fund. Now, I know, saving for an emergency fund isn't glamorous. It's not some super exciting investment, and no, it won't make you rich overnight. But what it does do is prevent temporary setbacks, like a sudden medical emergency, a blown transmission, or a job loss, from turning into permanent financial damage.
Okay, here is a golden rule you have to memorize. Pay the full statement balance every single month. Never, ever spend money you don't already have. Look, credit cards are powerful tools, yes, for sure, but they are incredibly dangerous if misused. Please do not fall into the trap of focusing solely on your minimum monthly payments. If you do that, you're going to be trapped in literally years of repayments, and you'll lose thousands of dollars to interest. The banks absolutely love customers who carry balances. Don't be that customer.
And this brings us to financial resilience. This means building additional income streams to reduce your risk when you're relying entirely on a single paycheck. Because relying on just one income source works perfectly, right up until it doesn't. Layoffs happen. Entire industries can change practically overnight. So having even a small side income or a freelance hustle can dramatically reduce your financial risk and honestly give you incredible peace of mind.
Okay, let's move to phase 3 and see how this builds. Starting the wealth engine. We're focusing on investing, consistency, and financial literacy.
So we are shifting the narrative right now from playing defense to playing offense. This is where we stop just surviving and start actively focusing on long-term generational growth. I'll start later. Guys, that right there is arguably the single most dangerous sentence in all of personal finance. Time and compounding interest are the absolute most powerful forces in investing, but compounding needs years to work its magic, and every single year you wait, you literally destroy that power.
So here is the incredibly simple path forward to get you started today. Step 1, start small. Step 2, be consistent. And step 3, let time work. You absolutely do not need huge, massive amounts of money to begin investing. The real secret to the wealth engine isn't some giant initial deposit. The secret is unshakable consistency over a really long period of time.
Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast between financial hype and reality. On one hand, you have the loud hype, crypto booms, meme stocks, get-rich-quick schemes, fast money. And on the other hand, the cold, hard reality. You usually arrive late, you lose your money, and yeah, it was just too good to be true. I'm telling you this as your mentor, beware of those guaranteed opportunity illusions. Easy, fast returns almost always result in lost money. True wealth building is boring. And you know what? Boring is beautiful.
Since our traditional schools teach us math, history, and science, but rarely teach us personal finance, you really have to take this into your own hands. Money impacts almost every single part of your life. So taking the time to learn these skills yourself, things like investing, budgeting, taxes, is just incredibly valuable. In fact, financial literacy is probably the highest return investment you will ever make.
Which brings us to our final section, your next small decision. The subtitle here says it perfectly. You don't need a higher salary, you need fewer financial mistakes.
As your mentor, I want to say this. Please don't feel like you have to fix your entire financial life overnight. That's just a recipe for burnout. Honestly, just correcting one or two of the simple habits we've discussed today can completely change the trajectory of your entire future. The absolute truth is that wealth is built through thousands of small decisions made consistently over time. It is never built through one single perfect choice. It's built through deciding to cook dinner at home today, deciding to automatically transfer $100 to your investment account tomorrow, deciding to sleep on a big purchase for a week. Consistency is the magic ingredient here.
Which leaves us with this final critical thought. Wealth starts with one small decision today. So what will yours be? Take everything you've learned in this explainer today, pick just one single thing, and put it into action right now. Stop the leaks, build your shield, start your engine. Your future self is waiting.